Down the Lens Podcast. Down the Lens Podcast.
Eventually they do apply and they say, actually, yeah. And then they say, do you want to go in for a meeting? And they're like, wow, this is actually really good content.
Yeah.
And then their whole vision of you is just changed. Like, wow, this guy can actually do it. And I think that's why a lot of people on social media don't know what they can do until you see their work.
Yeah.
Anyone can say they're a videographer, but until you see their work, that's when they're like, okay, that's the guy we need.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 16. I'm here joined with William. William, introduce yourself, mate.
Yeah, so my name is William Hamilton, and I am a freelance student photographer, videographer, just trying to find my way through the new industry.
Yep.
Just trying to enjoy it and get my name out there as much as possible.
So yeah, we spoke off camera quickly. Obviously, you were trying to get into uni. What course was it that you were trying to do in uni?
So at the moment, I'm trying to get down to Bournemouth University to study media production or film and TV. And I've always wanted to do film and TV. I've always had a passion for it since high school. I started my journey in media, I suppose, in high school when I studied media ICT.
Right. Okay. What did that entail? What was the modules?
That was making like websites, logos, a bit of everything in media, really. So we made some posters, website design, logo designs, and stuff like that. And it was all a bit of a mix and mash because my high school wasn't like, it didn't have a wide variety of media. It was just like, we'll just put you all in one class and you can all just study everything in one lesson. And that was okay. It was a 2-year course from year 10 to year 11. And it was good. I enjoyed it. And I think that was probably my favorite class out of high school. The end of high school was a bit of a nightmare because I was the first year to have the COVID-19 lockdown.
Right. Oh, you were a young pup then.
Yeah. So we were like the first year to go through the teacher, predicted grades, so all the grades I got were predicted. I never did any exams.
Were they what you wanted, hypothetically?
I mean, at the end of the day, I passed all my exams. That was the main thing. That was really worrying me the most. I was like, oh God, what if I don't pass something? Maths and English was a special because if I didn't pass them, it was...
The UCAS points to get. Yeah,
you'd have to come back to college and redo maths and English. And I was like, right, we need to pass it. And luckily, I did pass it, and I passed media and everything. And I was like, right, okay, on to the next thing. And that was college. I went to Hereford Sixth Form College.
Oh yes, a lot of people from Abergavenny venture to Hereford Sixth Form.
So I went there, and then that's when I saw that they did more media, and I was like, okay, there's a bit more
specific to what you wanted to do.
So there was photography. Media production as well, and they were the two main subjects I wanted to learn because I was like, this is more my kind of style. And actually, media production at college was actually kind of a mistake when I first started it because I originally thought it was more website design. I was the type of person not to really read the prospectus much in college. I was like, I looked at the title and I was like, yeah, let's just do it. So the first lesson, and they were like, this is all about film, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a bit.
Not what you used to.
Not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of them to say like logos and graphic design. And then I read the prospectus after joining it, and I was like, oh, okay.
I've signed up now for 2 years.
Up so but actually, it was the best mistake I've actually made because I actually enjoyed it.
In hindsight, you realised
it was actually really good, really entertaining, and it was 2.5-year course. Along with photography, and I just did business as a third option because that's what you do when you're a student.
So what was the main subject? You had photography, business,
and media production.
Okay. And what are they teaching within those subjects?
So media production was all about film and TV, basically everything from scripting, storyboarding.
God, you won't be no more than me then.
So like all the legal sides, copyright, all the way through to making your own short film, basically. So in the first year, you would make I made like a trailer for a fictional storyline about like a caveman or whatever, and it was quite fun actually, just in my local village filming with my best mate. And then second year was more about making a promotional advertisement campaign,
a commercial of some sort.
So we had a brief that said, right, you have to make a campaign for BBC Three, and it has to be like anything you want. Basically,
okay, cool.
Promote it. So you had to go through all the legal processes. Obviously not real, but it was just to get a feel of it, and just making all the characters and storyboards and scripts, everything had to be like in perfect detail to obviously get the best grade possible. So throughout high school, throughout college, I was just constantly
on top
of it. And, you know, I was a bit of a quiet kid in high school and college as well. I was just always focused on my work. And occasionally I'd have a bit of fun. It was chill, but it was hard work as well.
So you had to come out your shell a bit more in college.
Yeah. So definitely speaking to a lot more people, because when I had to film for first year and for second year, I had to get permission to film on certain land and certain places. So you had to make your own like land documents. Say like, does the landowner accept that you?
So you're doing everything from directing to producing.
Yeah, literally, you do from everything. So
and kind of what skills do you think they helped you?
I think social skills at the most. I think, you know, speaking to new people, because I was always a shy kid in high school. And I think going into college over the last 2 years of my college journey, it's made me more confident. But also working outside of college, you know, I work in a coffee shop in Monmouth. So
everyone starts in a coffee shop.
Everyone starts in a coffee shop. Yeah. So I worked in a coffee shop. I still work there now. Just getting through it, really, just getting a bit money. And like I said before we started recording, I said I was gonna. I forgot what I said now. Mine's gone blank.
It's fine. But then obviously, you've done the college thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously you said initially you wanted to do like kind of website building, but then you went to college, you kind of started doing the film and the photography.
Yeah.
And then what kind of career path did that then want you to
push
forward
what
with?
I wanted to do really was a bit of everything. Photography, videos, and just making promotional videos for like weddings or parties or anything like that, and just say, look, I want to do a bit of work. And I got a bit of work from an old friend of mine from high school. She was like a florist.
Okay.
And she said, look, I need some photos for this.
That's how we all start.
Yeah, for this, like, it was like a Valentine's Day photo shoot. And I just said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I put a whole day of work in there. I was just sat in my room just with this, you know, canvas and table and lights and everything. I just took loads of photos. And that's when I first got like a paycheck from doing
it. And that's when you got hooked, was from doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so that's when I got noticed by like other people, and other people were saying like, yeah, there's like a farmer up the road I said I do media production and videos and stuff. He said he wants a promotional video for his farm and to promote it. So I was like, yeah, sure. You know, I haven't done it yet, but I am working towards it. Doing little clips here and there throughout the year, because he wants like a seasonal thing. So what you do in the summer and the winter and stuff. So it's a thing that's going to go on for a little while yet. That I'm working on. And then when so my mum actually got a new job down in Ebervale, and that's where I met Alex Bull, who was on the last.
Was our guest on episode 14. Yes, 14.
Yeah. So that's why I met him. He's probably going to watch this now. He's going to be like...
I'll tag him in it.
Yeah. So that's why I met him, and we just had a long chat about what I was doing, a bit like this, really, you know, just discussing what.
And how long ago was that chat? Were you still in college then, or because you
so
I was a gap year?
So I was still in the gap year. Gap year. So that was during my gap year, and I was a bit lost, really. I think I'm not as lost now. I think I've got a bit of an idea of what I want to do and where I want to go. But at the time, I was very lost. I was like, you know, I want to do this, but how do I get there? How do I?
I think we all come across that, especially if you've gone to college, you kind of realize the skills that you want to like. You know, build and go forth with, and then you're stuck then in a
and then you just don't know where to go, and especially living around in a rural area like I do, it's very hard to find someone who does this sort of stuff. You know, a lot of them are based in Birmingham, London, Manchester, Cardiff
at a push,
and so when I was told there's this guy in Ebervale who does media, I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, you don't see that every day. So I thought, well, I might as well just go down, say hello. And sure enough, it was probably one of the best decisions I made, because if I didn't meet him, I wouldn't have met you, and I wouldn't have met other people I've met as well. So I think from him, I've made a lot more connections to places I want to go in the future. And one of them is, I don't know if you've heard of Storm and Shelter in Cardiff.
Yes.
So I've heard of them. And the plan was next year to go to uni, do a course, and then come back and then try and get into
like an apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship with maybe potentially Storm and Shelter, or there's another one called Mighty Sky Film, who do like drones and stuff. So
I'm trying to get them on the podcast, but they do like full on sick.
Yeah,
like,
they have massive drones.
If you've ever watched like any Hollywood stuff where they have like the souped up 100 brake horsepower cars with the big massive camera arms in them, they do all that kind of stuff, don't they?
And they've done so many promotional videos for loads of people around South Wales, but also across the country as well. Oh
yeah, worldwide, yeah.
They just do amazing stuff, and all their content it looks like something out of Blue Planet.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So have you reached out to these companies yet, or are you just kind of targeting that's where you kind of want to go?
That's where I want to go, and I'm hoping doing this podcast and talking to other people will hopefully get my name out there a bit more.
Yeah.
Because being quite a small social media account, you don't really get that chance to go out and speak to these people much. But I've contacted them privately on email and messaged them, and I've said, look, if you have any jobs available in the next
that's all you got to do is basically put the feeders out there,
but also keep going, like don't just say,
keep doing your own stuff at the same time,
but also pushing at them as well, saying like, do you have any jobs available? And they more likely say no the first time, but if you keep going back to them over a few months,
even if you said to them, if you've got a shoot coming up, can I be an assistant or like a runner? Like maybe you just pay for my you pay for my travel, and you pay for my give me some grub. Because then you'll learn then on the set at the same time. I still do that to this day. If there's a big shoot that I'd love to be part of, for example, like Planet Earth or like your National Geographical stuff, I don't care if I've got to run around making coffees or just being there on that set. It's just so cool.
Yeah, and then being there, you can also have conversations with other people and say, look, I like doing photography and film, and they're like, well, maybe you can have a look and get closer. And the closer you get, they're like, they notice you more.
Well, then obviously if you've put in a good shift, they'll be like, oh, William was really good. We should get him back on this one. And this time, we've got in the budget £200-300 to give to him for like a day's work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's always about just getting your name out there and keeping your name in the circle, because one thing that I've been told is on social media, try and like as many posts as you can as they post, so you're always in their top feed.
Right,
you know what I mean? So Will's just liked your post, and then they post again in the next day or 2 days time, and you like it again, and your name is always like, obviously it's hard to like it the first like of the post, but that's what I try and aim at.
So from your college experience, and obviously having this conversation with Alex, what are you kind of aiming for the future? Obviously you said you want to go down to Bournemouth University. What kind of credentials are you trying to get out of that to maybe push your career forward?
So mainly, I mean, the long-term dream is to become a professional director and producer.
And does that work for a production house specifically?
Production house mainly.
So
and then after that, try and work into my own business, but that's a long way away. I think a lot of creators, say like you did start out in a production house, they always end up kind of like wanting to take their own route. And is there like a specific kind of thing you want to be filming? Is it like actual films, or is it more like nature documentaries? Is it like sci-fi? I mean, I'm still debating that in my head. I'm still like, I've seen so many videos. I mean, I've just watched the new Blue Planet 3.
Amazing.
Oh, it's incredible. The shots they did in there was just amazing, and that really inspires me to work there. And I've seen them based in Bristol.
Yes, so I've done my research.
Based in Bristol,
not far from us.
Not far. So it's not on our doorstep, but it's close.
It's a commute. You can do the commute.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not far. And I am hopefully going to contact them when I am at uni. Say, look, I'm looking to come out of uni in the next 2-3 years. I need to have a
because they're BBC. You might be able to do like an apprentice through the BBC on behalf of them.
So BBC Bristol, that's one I'm looking at. There is BBC Cardiff as well, but also Storm and Shelter and Mighty Sky Film.
So
the main 4 I'm looking at because they're the closest ones. But all the time I'm getting messages, and I see on Instagram, there's a new company I've never heard of before, and they're perfect for what I want to do. So I'm saving them in my phone. It's like, right, save you next 3 years later on scrolling through.
Do your own research, because that's what you got to do. Because I remember once I put a shift in for like an agency in Cardiff, and I was only there. I helped them out with like a bunch of editing they had to do before Christmas. Like I had to do a big block dusted, but because I worked there, I learned the structure of like a company, like a video production company. So that helped me.
Yeah, I think that helps as well, and just learning on the day when you get invited to go to these things, always take it up, because I always feel like I've done this before. I always don't do things because I'm nervous to do it, and then I regret not doing it. So everything that comes up now in related to film or anything like that, podcasts like this, I'm always like, just take it, because at the end of the day, I'm going to look back on this, I'm going to be like, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, it's putting yourself out of your comfort zone.
What this could do. This could get my name out even further to people I haven't even heard of before.
Yeah, if anyone's listening, William is dying to come on your set. Not dying, but he's a young gentleman trying to get himself out there and
trying to get out there and just do my own thing and keep learning. That's the thing. I'm trying to keep learning.
I'm still learning now.
Yeah, you always learn everything.
Yeah.
Everything you do. I'm still.
There's always someone like the next level up from you.
Yeah, and I've got equipment in my room, only small stuff, but I'm still learning with it. I've had a camera now, the same camera for about 5 years. I'm like this. I've never seen this button on the camera before, but it does something new. It just makes your content look better, and it's just like little things like that, and you just think there's so much more. In this industry,
especially so if you go from like your freelance stuff, like that me and you both do, when you then go onto like a set, there's a whole nother scale there. You start learning
when you're doing like a freelance stuff, you are everyone. You are a director, producer, everything. So when you go into an actual production, there was everyone doing a little bit of everything, and everyone comes together. And I think that's the best part about it, because you have that little element of your job that makes the whole production look better. Without a makeup designer, that would make the whole set look. it wouldn't work.
William, can you come and do the makeup for this talent, please?
So it's just small things that I like adding and helping maybe production one day, and just being like watching that back in 10 years. I did that.
On the credits,
even though it's a very small 5-second clip. I filmed that clip.
With this current kind of content you're shooting now, what you find yourself that you actually filming? What do you enjoy filming?
So at the moment, I've got like a small DJI drone, DJI Mini 3 Pro, and it's just a small.
They're good.
They are good.
I bought one.
They are good. They're not good when you crash them into a tree, though.
Oh no! It's not the time when you rung me.
That was the time I rung you. Yeah. So
I've got a phone call. Hello, this is William. I've been given your number. Who did you get my number off?
Alex.
Oh, it was Alex. I've never spoken to him since then.
I think it was Alex, or it was someone else.
But you gave me a rung, didn't you? And he was like, I've crashed my drone up a reservoir. And he was like, can you come and help me find it? Unfortunately, I couldn't at the time, but did someone come and help you find that drone in there?
Yeah, so I crashed it into this massive pine tree, and it was up there for about 3 days, and I came back and I found it was Joe Robinson. He came out and he had a look with his drone and
did give you a hand.
He couldn't find it. He was really good help. But we were out there for about an hour.
Did you find it in the end then?
No, we didn't find it, and it was so annoying because it wasn't like I was flying at high speeds. But I was doing a side shot, and it was my fault. I was flying it sideways, so the sensors couldn't see that direction. It just clipped one of the branches. It landed, and I
did it not have like the beeping thing on it? Like
it only had 8% battery. Oh, I know. It was my fault. It was my fault. It only 8%. So
have you now got a new drone?
Yeah. So I contacted DJI, and we went through like a whole process of like evaluating what happened, and they said unfortunately it was
user
error. So it was my fault, and I was like, oh, that's annoying. But luckily, the guy who I spoke to was very kind,
understanding.
He took a bit of time to understand it more, and we had a phone call and stuff. And he was like, "Do you know what? That's okay. We'll give you a new one. You have to pay for it, but it won't be as expensive as buying a brand new one." So I got it about half price.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of a big company like that. I think they would go through the time to do that for you. That's quite good.
I thought I was really good at them. So luckily, I have got it back. Yeah, not the same one, but
So you're shooting a lot of content with your drone. Was it more like landscape kind of stuff?
More like landscape. I go out and just do my own thing. I like doing a lot of cinematic shots with my drone. I've just turned D-Cine like on and just be like, right, let's go and get some nice sunset shots on. Yeah, my most recent one is like Skirrid. I went up the Skirrid and I was like, early evening with my mate, and we just sat on the top of the Skirrid and I just flew my drone around. And I mean, it's on my socials. One of the best shots I got was a bird, and it came right up close to the drone.
Right, okay,
it was perfect, that shot. And the best thing was I didn't even realize I got that until I got home.
Right, nice.
So I got home and I was like, that is amazing.
You were chuffed with that shot. So what have you found from like the first clip you've ever shot and put on your social to now? Have you like seen a progression?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, when I first posted, I was doing more photography side, but I've actually fell in love more with video and making videos and stuff like that. So I actually deleted a few of my photographs that I originally posted, and I said, right, okay, I want to make sure my best content is posted here, because I don't want to be seen by someone, and it's just old photographs of random stuff that have no meaning and not really what I want to do. So I just said to myself, right, just delete all the stuff that you're not happy with and just post stuff that is good and
relevant to what you want to do.
I want to do. Yeah, and that's what I did, and that's what I'm doing. And I've always been struggling with posting on social media because you always have to. It's always drilled in, isn't it? Like you've got to post every day or best stuff, and it's got to be constantly flowing. And sometimes you can't do that. In fact, all the time I can't do that. So
I've tried, but it's hard work.
Yeah. So instead, I'm just taking it back, and I'm just like, right, just make whatever you need to make and then post it when it's ready and when it's at its best.
Yeah, because I think there's two types of content creators. Yeah. There's one that post daily, and it's short form content. It's quick. It's not the best. And but then you have the other one. Say for example, a YouTuber. They'll post maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month, but that project is top notch, top of the line kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not a real big fan of the whole new social media change to from long form video to short form video. I'm not a fan of reels, but it's the way forward. It
gives you the exposure.
Yeah, it's the way social media is moving. And if you don't do reels, you won't get as seen as much because reels help you get a new audience.
Yeah, that's true.
So, video nowadays has so much more exposure than photos do.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
But the thing is, making a video of a photo, it's not the same. It's you can't do that. So you have to learn to make videos, and I am slowly doing that, but it's hard to keep making good content every single day. So it's just like, at the moment I'm just posting once a week, maybe even once every 2 weeks, because I'd much rather do that, have the best content on my account, than just post random rubbish videos.
Yeah, exactly. And what software are you using to edit?
Adobe Premiere Pro.
And what struggles have you found as maybe, how long have you been using that program
so I've been using it since college, so about 3 years now.
Oh, so you switched on with it.
I'm pretty decent at it. I wouldn't say I'm a complete beginner.
There's loads of things.
But there's loads of things that
I bet you, they say like all the apps on your phone or what your phone can do, you only use 10% of it. It's more be the same with Premiere Pro.
I know. It's just that there is a lot to Premiere Pro, and there's a lot to editing videos in general. And I think the more you practice, the better your videos are going to get.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm just always keen and eager to get back on the laptop, get back editing. And even if I don't post it, I just want to keep it in my folder for whenever I meet a new client or an employer and say, look, this is the videos I've done. I can just whack up all these videos.
Done.
And it's, it's something that I just enjoy doing, really.
And what's your kind of editing process? Is there anything like you think you've learned that maybe some other people think, actually, that's a good tip?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment I'm just filming clips as one, and I'm just uploading them as one clip. I'm not really editing them much. But I think just taking your time with it is the most thing. I think a lot of people on social media think you have to rush things to get it out as quickly as possible. So just take your time with it, edit it slowly, and if it doesn't work, I just shut my laptop and I come back tomorrow and it's like, right, okay,
because
we'll go again tomorrow.
I've seen a lot of people, they say like they edit something, they don't put it out that evening, they'll close it, come back the next day, and their whole mindset about the video they're editing is completely changed.
Yeah, especially when you're editing it like 10 o'clock at night, you're just like, you're tired, and you wake up and you're just like, is this good? And then you decide then, was that half an hour last night, extra half an hour you put into it, worth it? Yeah. And most of the time it's not, because you're tired, you just want to go to bed, and you're doing it, just overworking yourself. Yep. When actually you could just shut the laptop there and say, come back tomorrow, and then you decide then, is it good? Yeah. Do you carry on? Yeah. And you just keep editing from there and just keep improving it. And that's one thing I do a bit too much, to be honest. I finish a clip in Adobe, shut the laptop, open it again. I'm like, right, I've just seen something on YouTube. The University of YouTube. I just
the University of YouTube.
I know. It's just, you see something on there and you're just like, right, I want to add that. How do I do that? How do you do it? And then
you
realise it
takes
an hour.
3 hours.
It takes about 3 hours.
You've got to go back and forth between Adobe and YouTube to try and copy what they've done.
So that's basically what I'm trying to do.
So your Adobe's like your main thing. What kind of, obviously you're looking to go to Bournemouth University.
Yeah.
How long is that particular course?
So that's a 3.5 year course, nearly 4 years. So it's going to be quite a lengthy course.
Yeah.
But it's all in open at the moment, because I'm still looking at other universities like Worcester, Gloucester, potentially Birmingham. It's not one of the ones I want to go to the most, but I think Bournemouth is the main one.
Yeah, it's nice.
I want to go to, because Bournemouth is actually one of the best ones for media closest to me at least anyway, because there's Falmouth, which I went to on a college trip, and I liked it there, but it was more art based, more art design, so I was like, it's not really my kind of thing. What you want to do. But Bournemouth is a lot more modern, a lot more, I just don't like it more, and I've got an open day coming up in November.
Nice. And then obviously with the university thing, say for example, as you do this freelance thing and you pick up some jobs and you get some traction, would you maybe put the uni to the side and push that career, or are you kind of set on the uni?
I think I'm probably more set on the uni at the moment, because I feel like the degree I get out of it, it's a lot of money to go to university, and I think I'll be more beneficial to just do the course, get through it, and get the degree at the end of it, then just put aside uni and just say, look, I got, because that job could only last a few months, and I'll never see them again. Whereas uni, I've always got that degree, and I've always got it for life, so I can just keep. So
you are then looking to go like uni and then work for an actual production house, for an actual production.
I'm not really looking to make a personal company really as such,
or like a freelance stab at it quickly.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm better when I work with a team. Even though I want to do a lot of freelance stuff, in the long run, I feel like working with a team is better for me.
You're going to learn a lot of skills.
That
you maybe haven't before.
And the skills I've already got, I know it sounds stupid, but from a coffee shop, is actually, I've been a team leader there. So I've got experience of leading a team. And
those skills will transfer over to working there.
And what I want to do, first of all, is try and do more wildlife and nature videos or documentaries, and just do stuff like that, because my dream is to work for Blue Planet and BBC and stuff like that. I do loads of documentaries about travel and just traveling the world. Like, that would be the best job ever.
You're still young, so you've got plenty years ahead of you to do that.
And that's the dream. And then after that, maybe look at doing more film and TV side and make more, short form dramas or anything like that. But I mean, the idea of being a freelancer and making your own business is not on the page at the moment. It's more just making.
It's a bit of a side hustle at the moment to keep you going while you get to uni.
It's just to do it until I get a bit of a portfolio for myself, and then I can go into a big team then and say, look, this is what I do. Can I join you?
So you're talking about the Planet Earth 3.
Yeah.
You watched the first episode?
Watched the first episode, loved it.
We like animals, but we like the cinematography as well.
Yeah, the best shots are the cinematic ones.
But I was talking to you off camera. You haven't seen like the trailer for it, have you?
No, I've seen the first episode. I haven't watched the trailer. No,
I'll show you it now.
Yeah, sure.
You guys will be able to hear it. Whether I'll get copyright on it is another question. But me and William are going to watch it, and then we're going to discuss after what it's like.
Good morning. Mother Nature painted the sky for us this dawning.
The music's sick.
She took some crimson red.
I just think, how the hell did they get those shots? It's like ridiculous.
Trees, they stretch their arms as they dance their
That's really unreal.
The ocean rolls with 1,000 lions standing proud.
It's mental.
Mother Nature, you're just showing off now.
I think the music, that's sick. Shots, FPV is another level.
That's a dream there.
Like when you do filmmaking and you know a little bit about it, you understand how hard these shots would take to get like.
A lot of these shots are taken.
They're like ridiculous.
10 times.
Like even that time lapse there, it's mental. So this is where it gets sad now, but this is obviously the story that they're trying to put across. Like imagine being that cameraman.
Once again, we journey across our magnificent planet. To meet the astonishing animals that live here. And reveal their extraordinary stories.
that thing.
She's still tired. Oh, she's still tired. And she's still tired.
But imagine seeing a rhino walk down the street.
That freaked me out. I was like,
Planet
God,
Earth 3.
I wouldn't be standing on
Mental.
that street with that rhino.
So yeah, that's that. What did you think of that? That's the first time you saw that.
I mean, that just sums up the whole thing, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, like with the music, like sometimes it get, like when I first watched it, I chucked on the headphones
Yeah.
and just watched it noise cancelling, and literally with the music and like
yeah,
the
with
clips just blew
headphones,
me
it's
away.
just so much better. It just makes it so much more immersive.
Yeah.
as a viewer, you know, and it makes you want to watch it. You know.
So you watched the
constantly.
first episode.
Yeah.
After watching that, you've seen obviously some of the shots they done there. Obviously,
Yeah.
as being like a new to filmmaking and stuff, and obviously learning the basic skills and stuff like that, you kind of realise and produce and
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
the complexity
Yeah,
of
yeah.
these shots. Are ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I mean, all of those shots there, you know, have been taken well over 20 times to get the right one.
Yeah.
Because nothing especially with animal photography and videography, nothing goes to plan.
No,
one shot one.
Yeah,
You know,
they're not
it's
actors. They're like
not
real
actors.
life animals.
Yeah, exactly. So you've just got to be there in the moment, in the right place, right time, and you've just got to accept that it could be 2 shots or it could be 20 shots before you get the one that you want the most.
Yeah, because have you seen some of the documentaries? There's an English guy is on Disney called I can't remember his full name, like Bertie something.
Right.
See if I can find it now. But he's called Bertie. But he's got a season, a couple of episodes on Disney.
Yeah.
And long story short, he's a filmmaker, but he's you know he specifies in like videography and filmmaking.
Right. Yeah,
but it follows more behind the scenes of actually how he comes to actually make the film.
Yeah.
So this is the guy here. So he films a bunch of stuff. So like he does some mad stuff, but you can actually see like what he films. So let's just give you an example of what kind of stuff he does. But he is like the Blue Planet thing.
Yeah.
But he does more National Geographical.
Yeah.
But he's like, you see behind the camera and what it
exactly.
entails.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I watch not him, but I do watch similar people like that.
Yeah,
and I watch them how they set up throughout the day, how they get to the shots, and they start filming at 1:30 and they don't leave until about 5:30 because it's just so long to wait for.
And they go out on these particular projects. They're set an assignment, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, each episode's different, but one might be shooting like a pack of wild dogs in Africa. One might be like lions, elephants, you name it.
Yeah.
But they have like a 4-week window where they want to get a specific subject that they want to film.
Yeah.
So literally, they leave their wife and kids at home.
Yeah.
Go off and then film then in obviously these world-class locations, and then obviously try and get this one particular shot.
Yeah, and I think that's the fun of it, really. I mean, you know, for a lot of people, they wouldn't have that patience to go out and just sit there for hours on end, just waiting for this animal to pop up or whatever they're waiting for. But I'm a patient guy. I like you know, waiting for the best moments.
Yeah,
I think that's what makes videography special and long form videography special, is because you can show a lot more in 10 minutes than you can in 30-second reels.
True.
So long form video for me is so much better because you get more immersed into the video, you get more immersed into what you're showing people.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot more as well from making it yourself and also from the viewer's point of view. You know?
So after watching that, is that kind of like your end goal? Or not necessarily end goal, but that's your next like 5-year goal,
That's
is to kind of get into those kind of
that's my next
positions.
5-10 year goal to work with the BBC, and then it could go on for more than that. You know, it depends how much I enjoy it and if I want to change it up, because at the moment I'm still young. I don't know where I want to go in life fully, but that would be the first place I would like to work.
Yeah, I'd love that. I don't know if my age is an issue now.
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing, and then if I get overboard of that, and I can just think, right, okay, what can I do now? Can I move on to doing more dramas-based stuff with BBC, making TV shows or game shows or anything like that, and just getting out there as much as possible and just changing up a bit.
And is there anything like personally that you're going to try and do? Because obviously you've got your own social media account now. Are you going to try and shoot more like wildlife stuff to try and get this, or just general nature stuff?
Yeah, general nature stuff at the moment. Just doing, I mean, still sticking with the drones. I feel like I'm a big fan of drones. I want to get a FPV drone.
What are you going for?
Well, there's so many.
Are you going like the homemade kind of vibe? You know, with the GoPros on top and you build it yourself.
Yeah, I think that would be
rather than DJI route.
that when you can have a lot more control about what GoPro you use and how you set it up and everything. So I think that's the goal. And I think with them type of drones, especially from what I've got at the moment, which is the DJI Mini 3 Pro, that's more just that's not designed to go up and spiral down waterfalls and stuff. And that's just for simple cinematic.
Yeah, you can shots. Leave that drone, take your hands off the controller, and it'll stay there.
It'll stay there. Yeah. With these FPV drones, it's just you have the goggles on, and you have, and it makes it more immersive for the person flying the drone as well. And I think that's the enjoyment I get.
Because I hear that you have to put like at least like two to like 4 weeks training in at least.
Yeah, it takes
like multiple hours.
I mean, if I'm crashing my drone now, I mean, I'm expected to crash a lot more doing that
because they're fully manual. So if you take your fingers off the joysticks, it just plummets straight out of the sky.
Yeah. So I want to try and take my drone I've got at the moment to more exotic places in Wales. Nice. I've been down to we went down to the Skirrid, and I went down further into the Brecon Beacons. Talibon, it was Talibon as I crashed it, but also heading up North Wales as well, because I've seen a lot of photographers up there that go to places.
I've done some bit up at North Wales. I've got the Gower as well.
Yeah, well, I have a family member who is a photographer who's up in North Wales, and he has drones and stuff.
Nice.
And he does a lot of good stuff up there, like nice lakes, and it's just so remote. Not a single person around, and when you go to those places and fly your drones there, that just makes it that whole much better.
And then so like camera wise, what camera are you currently using at the moment?
So at the moment I've got a kit camera. It's a Nikon D3500 with a kit lens. Everything's basically kit based because it's expensive to get.
Especially when you're a student.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just using that at the moment. I've recently discovered mirrorless cameras, so I'm looking at that because they look much better than what I've got at the moment. But
have you kind of done your research, kind of what camera you want potentially if you've got the
I'm more into drones at the moment. That's sort of where I'm going. I just have my DSLR camera on standby.
I started out all on drones, and then it wasn't until like a year in when I got a camera.
And I'm starting to learn more about cameras and more about equipment and how they work and stuff and what's better.
What have you found that the hardest learning point about cameras?
Probably the main aspects of ISO, aperture, and stuff like that. It is difficult. I think doing the course at college helped you massively. Hell of a lot, because when I first picked up that camera, because I got that as a present from my family before I started the course, and they said, right, here's a camera. Go out and learn how to use it. And when I first got it, I opened out the box. I was like, how do you use this? But after doing the 2-year course, I knew how to use 80% of it. There's still bits, like I said, there's still bits I need to learn and how to use, but the main fundamentals of it are there. So it's now just experimenting really.
Once you've got like the main things like you said down. I remember going on one of my first shoots in an uncontrolled environment, and I didn't have a Scooby. When you first pick up a camera for the first time and you see things like aperture, shutter, and ISO. And you boost one thing up, and then the other thing goes down. And you're like, what the hell's going on here? Like, it's a completely different world. But then you fast forward a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, you're like, I didn't.
Yeah, and there's so many attachments as well. You can get to the cameras as well, like filters and microphones and stuff like that. It's just, there's so much more to the world of media and photography, especially with different equipment, different styles of doing things, and it just makes it that's what makes it fun, because you think you've reached it all, and then you open a new door and you're like, what's all this? And you think, right, what's
now you've got sound to deal with, maybe lighting is another
sound,
thing,
everything from lighting, sounds, and just that's what makes it enjoyable.
Would you want to specialize? So say after you come out of uni, you get into like a production house, would you want to specialize as like a director, or like a cameraman, or like?
I think as a videographer, as a cameraman would be the main.
But alternate between like drones and cameraman, or like
mainly do a bit of both really, because I think doing a bit of both makes you more like
versatile.
Exactly.
Hireable as well.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can't get the camera job, you might be able to then go, actually, sick at drones and get him as a drone operator.
And that's the goal, because if you can do both, you can do a bit of camera work, and then you can say, right, now we need a shot of the drone. Who can do that? Well, I can do that. So you can just put down the camera, pack it away, and get the drone out, and away you go. Rather than trying to find a separate videographer who can specialize just in drones. If you can make yourself more handy to them and do different things, the better really.
What have you found is not a deep question, But what have you found, obviously, as like a younger gentleman, what have you found the hardest part of maybe trying to come into this industry? Obviously not maybe knowing so many people and obviously not having the credentials just as yet.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part, is probably not having the experience. Experience has, over the last 2 years, has taught me a lot.
Yeah.
You need experience to get into these places. If you don't have experience, if you don't have a portfolio to show people, they won't employ you. And if you don't have the degree that you need, then there's a lower chance of you getting employed by people. So it's a lot of pressure to get everything sorted, because you know you want to get a degree, you need to get all these you want to get your name out there, and it's a lot to do. And you just think, out of all these people you're going to contact, who are actually going to come back? Out of 20, one.
Yeah, don't forget some of it might go into the spam as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just it's and this is why you've got to keep feeding in to people, saying like, right, do you have any jobs available? And they don't reply, and then you email them again. And you say, do you have any jobs? And eventually, I've done it before. Eventually, they do reply, and they say, actually, yeah. And then they say, do you want to come in for a meeting? Go in for a meeting, and they're like, wow, this is actually really good content.
Yeah.
And then their whole vision of you is just changed. They're like, wow, this guy can actually do it. And I think that's why a lot of people on social media, you don't know what they can do until you see their work.
Yeah,
they can anyone can say they're a videographer, but until you see their work, that's when they're like, okay, that's the guy we need.
So what's the biggest takeaway you've kind of learned in the last 2 years, say? Put yourself out there.
Yeah, put yourself out there, network.
Literally, if I was in your shoes, how old are you, if you don't mind?
19.
Well, I got 11 years on you. If I was in your shoes, I'd be just networking flat out.
Yeah, I mean,
because you're in the position now to say, if you've got a roof over your head, obviously if you're still at your parents, you've got the opportunity now just to travel as much as you want. Yeah, get on a gig and be like, I can go away for 6 weeks now. Yeah, no responsibilities.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you're bored, this is just me, just being an excited kid. Yeah. And if I was 19 again, if there was a sick job coming up, I love rugby, so Lions tour or the Blue Planet stuff. Obviously, they're top end level. But theoretically, if I was 19, I'd no overheads. I'd be emailing everyone, can I come on this? But I don't want any money. Just pay for my hotel, my food, and I'd be well up for that.
Yeah, and I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to do free work, not forever, but obviously for a little bit of time.
No, but while you can, you can be fed and you've got a roof over your head. There's nothing stopping you.
When you've got that, and you just want to go out there and you just want to contact as many people as possible, and when they see that you're offering it for free, and then there's that bit of a boundary, because you're offering it for free and they're like, oh, he's doing it for free, but then they're asking you, well, actually,
why are you offering it
for free? Yeah. Is it because you're new to this business? Is it because you're starting out? And most of the time it is.
Yeah.
So they can see that, and they're like, it's a bit of a risk, because if they employ you for free, they don't pay you, and they might get a really good video at the end of it, but they might not. And
but even if it's not video stuff, like we spoke about earlier in the episode, if it's a runner or first AC, or if you're just putting up the rigging or something
and there's a higher chance of doing free work for that, I think.
Because then you might be able to drift around the cameraman or the director and just thinking, oh, how's he composing that shot? Exactly. Kind of what can I take away from that?
That's what I want to do. Just sit on my phone, write notes down, and be like, okay, what's he doing now?
You will obviously get that opportunity a lot in university. I'm sure you'll be going on multiple sets and you'll be given other case studies to work on, and obviously your skills will only progress, and you'll be working with other individuals who are like-minded. Who might have certain skills that you might not have developed.
Yeah, and that's why I like working as a team as well, because you just learn, you make friends and you learn from other people, and they teach you something that you don't know.
Yeah, and vice versa. Yeah,
exactly. So that's why I like working as a team, because if you work on your own, you don't get that other perspective.
It more takes you 3 times as long to get to where you need to be if you were part of a team. I bet you if I went straight in and worked for an agency or production house, the stuff I know now, I would have learned within the first 3 months working there.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. It's just networking, talking to people, building a team, building friendships as well, because more people you're friends with, and the more people you share your content with and you keep in contact with over time, they'll remember you, and they'll be like, right, Will with the drone, he does,
he's good and stuff. Especially say for example, I've got a budget in place. Say I had a client come to me and I had a budget, and I think, I don't want all the responsibility of doing all the drone stuff. I'd be like, William's he's good.
He's good. Yeah.
how much you cost for a day with them? Yeah, sound. Jump on board, and then like you can then work with me, and then other people if you got booked with them. Then you learn their skills, and then you network with other people. Then all of a sudden you've built like a small community where you can all bounce off each other.
That's the goal really, just to get into that small community and find it, because like I
small.
said, it's very rural around here.
Well, I don't even think there's a community really in Monmouthshire.
No, not in Monmouthshire. No, not at all. No, the communities are mainly down in Cardiff, Newport area. Some in Swansea as well. And it's just joining them networks, getting the train down everywhere, and just visiting them, seeing what they do, how they do it, and just getting a vibe for how everything works really. Yeah,
because it's I'd say the community in South Wales is more bigger than we normally think, but it's finding the people who are in it to get invited into it, if that makes sense.
And then the people you want to find, I found out, is actually people who've come out of businesses like Storm and Shelter and Mighty Sky Film, who've made their own stuff now, and now they're looking for employers. And you can be like, right, well, give me the chance. You can teach me, and it'll be
like you might only have like 3 years Premiere Pro editing, but it's better than zero. And you can chuck together a 3-minute, 4-minute video that'll be substantial to give to a client.
Yeah, and then you can work your way up there and say, well, I'm working for this guy right now. He used to work for Storm and Shelter. Can you put my name in and see if they come back? And then there's a lot higher chance of you getting to Storm and Shelter. I'm just using Storm and Shelter as an example.
There's plenty of other ones out there. We're not sponsored by Storm and Shelter.
No, but that's the ones I look up to the most.
Yeah.
So
obviously moving forward, you're going to do the university thing, but Planet Earth is that your top one?
Yeah, that's the goal. Or if not, just doing any nature documentaries for other smaller.
Yeah, we're aiming high.
I mean, BBC
high expectations for you now,
BBC, BBC is a very big company, and it's going to take a lot of work to get their attention.
Yeah. But I think it's definitely achievable.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, anything's achievable, but at the moment, it's working your way up slowly, because I don't want to go into the BBC and then realise there's so much here, and I feel out of my depth for working for them, where then I could just take my time, work for a small company who do similar things, nature based, and then work up, and then eventually go to the BBC, just to slowly learn stuff.
Yeah, because that's not necessarily a tip for you, but like I've seen before, like your ITV and stuff, even though they obviously release the programs, they have actually production houses who work on specific program. Like I only learned this from having guests on. You might already know it from obviously your college experience, and you already know that. But like, for example, you might have like National Geographical, who like obviously put their stuff through on the Disney Plus, but National Geographical, who are the ones that put it out. However, separate video production company, the ones that actually produce the documentary or the film. Exactly. So you could do it that way as well, couldn't you, and get the experience like that?
Yeah, and that's another route I'm looking to do. And there's like I said, there's so many different options, different routes to get to the same place, and that's just one of many that I can do and get to where I want to be.
Yeah, it's true. So like, what kind of is, because obviously you're still technically a student, even though in your gap year.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's good to have you on, but I want to know what kind of tips do you reckon you could like relay back to people that are exactly in the same shoes as you?
Yeah, I think tips for anyone my age doing the same thing as me is just keep talking to people, keep getting your name out there, because and also keep making content that people will look at and think that's good. And like I said earlier, don't make content that is just there, and don't just spend 5 minutes on it. If you want to really do well, spend a lot of time doing it, get it right, and then when you make that content, more and more of it, and it will just get better and better. And speaking to people, it will just get you out there more. And I think that's the best advice I can give. Really.
And like the first stuff you put out, it's never going to be as good as your last video.
No, exactly.
You're always your hardest critic. Have you found that you're your biggest critic?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, all the time you look back in your work and you're like, God, all those months ago I did that video, and now I know not to do certain things I did there to make it better. And I think that's just the basic way of learning, really, just doing a little, but not changing loads of it, just changing one bit at a time.
Yeah, just maybe like change out a clip, maybe it wasn't composed correctly, and you just think, actually, I'll swap it out for this clip.
Yeah, exactly.
If people are looking to follow you and kind of see how you're getting on, where can they go to?
So I mean, at the moment I'm just posting on Instagram at _William.Hamilton _. It'll put you on the tag on the post as well.
Yeah, I'll be tagging it all.
So yeah, you can see my content on there. At the moment, I'm just doing drone stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually harder to do drone stuff now coming into the winter because the weather is changing.
Get that camera out and dust off the cobwebs and pick up that camera.
Pick up the camera and do a bit more camera work as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that's what I can.
So what's your hashtag? What's not your hashtag? What's your @ on Instagram for people?
@_.william.
Yeah.
_William.Hamilton.
Yeah.
And that's where you can find me on there. And yeah, just browse my stuff really and just
go and give him a follow. Also, if you're looking for a young man inspiring to be a filmmaker, give him a shout because he'd be well up for coming along and being on a shoot.
Yeah, 100%.
William, I'd like to thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you very much.
That was quick. Flew through. It's good to have you on.
Yeah.
I hope good luck.
Oh, thank you so
much. When are you looking to go to uni?
Next September.
So. Well, maybe I'll get you on again after like your first term.
That would be good.
Just to see like kind of where you've evolved.
Yeah.
You could be like a little Down the Lens podcast prodigy.
Yeah, it's part 1 of 3.
Yeah. Like, I know that'd be sick.
We'll see where it goes.
Good luck. Thank you very much for coming on, mate.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Have a good one. Bye, everybody.